Ben Armstrong arrested. We've got the inside scoop. Question everything. Trust nothing. Welcome to Debate Crypto. It's your boys, Keeper and Crusader, here on another episode, a special episode, albeit, and no, not a special episode because our good friend had a little stay last night overnight in Gwinnett County, but because we hit 10K subs, Crusader, let me be the first to just congratulate you. Let's go. And let's congratulate the chat. You guys have been here through the highs, through the lows, so we want to give you a big shout out. Crusader, you got anything you want to throw out to everybody?
Yeah, man. It's been a grind to get this last like 300, 500 subs.
I know. It took like 6 months to get the last 600 subs or something ridiculous.
It was a grind, right? Even to get this last 100 subs, it was like 2 months just to get it. Definitely hard work. Definitely been a monster of a ride. But I mean, dude, I'm excited. Like you said, right? Congratulations to the both of us and to everyone here supporting the channel, getting us over that 10,000 subs. Yeah. I mean, we're only getting started, right? The bull market's not even back yet, and we just hit 10K. So when it does get back, get ready.
And if you haven't heard the news, many of you probably have. If you were on the stream yesterday or a couple days ago, we're going to keep announcing this. We're going to be pushing out. I think we've got some actually promotional stuff that's going to be going out. But we've got trading wars coming up. If you didn't know, the overview is we are pushing people to their limits. Teams of 5, live trading. We're actively pushing everybody to their limits. We're super excited about it. And you, the people, are going to be able to compete live with the same traders. And the exchange is going to be offering a generous amount of money if one of you is able to beat the teams. I saw some people talking trash in the chat yesterday saying that they can beat our traders. I think maybe we could have a little, maybe a little side action on some of the, Crusader and I are definitely going to have a little bet on whose team's going to win. But maybe we could get the chat involved and have some side action on if, anybody wants to throw out there they think they can genuinely beat these traders. I think that'll be interesting. So, Crusader, let me ask you, do you think that one of our people in the chat can beat a team of professional traders as a group? Now, because I see both sides of this. Like I could see one. Yeah.
That's the thing, right? The fact that it was a team effort of these greatest traders coming together is going to be difficult. I'm not saying it's impossible. I have seen some people that do some pretty good trading and they're not part of any of these groups. I mean, I've seen some people in Magic and CVO's teams that they do really well trading as well. Yeah. Anything's possible, but it is going to be difficult with the fact that, hey, there are a team, they're working together, but who cares if you don't beat them, right? Just the fact that you're anywhere near close to the same level of trading and P&L as them shows that is great TA, that is great analysis, and that you're well prepared for this bull market. So I hope people are excited.
So 2 things I was thinking of. One, I won't be surprised if a bunch of people jump in just to copy trade, right? Because ultimately, there's a good chance if you got a group of traders that are agreeing on a trade, and listen, they don't have to agree. Here's the other side of it, right? So the thing where I'll talk about the other side of it is they don't have to work as a team, and maybe the team actually makes it harder because maybe you have a couple people that do really well and then a couple people that just make some bad trades because it happens and we're pushing it within a certain time limit in and out. Maybe one person doing their own thing, you know what I'm saying, might even be easier. I don't know. But I'm excited to see what people are able to do.
Caveman says, I can beat anyone in losing trades. Hey, bro, you might not be able to beat me. I'm pretty good.
Crusader's pretty solid at that. And I have been pretty solid at, I was pretty solid at losing potential gains in the meme coin markets. Okay. Crusader and I have got, I don't know, what do we got? Maybe a small house that we've lost in potential gains on meme coin.
Unrealized gains sitting there and waved into
Could have
goodbye.
bought a studio, bro. We
See
could
you
have had a
later.
Sin City like studio. You know what I mean?
Dude,
Just let it. Woo,
that's
see
not
ya.
even a joke. That's how serious it was.
Oh, let me jump into the chat real quick. Green Day Profits first in the house. What's up, brother? Glad to see you. Green Day Profits said congrats. Yesterday you were at 9.5K. We were actually at 995 at the end of yesterday.
Yeah,
We
we picked up a
unfortunately,
good amount of subs yesterday. Shout out to Bullish. Shout out to Zombie. He jumped into the chat.
mhm,
AJ,
yeah.
Evan, everybody that comes on the show and makes this show as good as it can possibly be.
Yeah, for sure. And chat, you guys are a big part of it, obviously. Patriot Caveman, always here in the house. Patrick Leichman, Burke in the house. Felipe Porto. Who else is up in
Did you see
here?
Burke's comment? Burke says, I made ya a metal NFT for 10K Twitter tag.
Now, what? Where do you see this? What does it say?
Right here.
I made you a metal NFT for 10K Twitter tag. Do you know what these metal NFTs are?
No, but I'm interested.
I mean, there's 10K
That's
attached.
great.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, we love it, dude. Let's check it out. Jump into the Discord if you're not already in there, and tell
Yeah,
us.
or hit us up on Twitter or whatever it is.
Or
And
Twitter, yeah.
let's talk about it.
Yeah, for sure.
Greatly appreciate it.
Kryptonian in the house. Kenton Smith, as always. Crypto Al. New World Crypto. What's up, Sean? Good to see you. Ryan Birchfield. Burke, as I said, in the house. Am I missing anybody? Crypto Stevo. Candle Daddy. We got in the house. Joe Mama. Again, my mom just keeps sneaking into the stream. Iram 42 and then French Toaster. So thank you guys for being here. We're going to have some fun today. Listen, in celebration of 10K subs, we got 10 articles we're going to get into.
Right.
So we might move a little bit fast today because we're not going to be on here for 10 hours. I can tell you that. But stick around. We've got some good stuff to get into. Lots happening in the crypto markets besides, obviously, the Ben Armstrong stuff. I know you guys have heard nothing but, and that's all you're hearing lately, right? But
Twitter last night was just
yeah, it's been a rodeo.
straight
That is for
chaos.
sure. Yeah. Let's check out the crypto markets as always. We'll start there. Nothing's going to change with how we start things off. We have got the global crypto market cap at 1.05 trillion with the T dollars. That's down 0.5%. Bitcoin's at 26,179, down about 0.5%, down 0.43. ETH sitting pretty flat at 1585. Seems to like that number. Tether just under $1. BNB at 211. XRP sitting at that 50 cents. Still calling for that $5, baby. Need to get there. USDC at $1. Cardano at 24 cents. Dogecoin still at 6 cents. Hasn't moved a bit. Solana under $20 at 19.14. Actually approaching $19 now. And Tron at 8 cents. Passed up Toncoin. That must have happened maybe yesterday or the last couple days because Toncoin's been, it's down 17.53% over the last couple days.
It's been ripping super hard the last month or so, so I'm not surprised that it's down 17%.
Yeah, guys, when you see, especially during a bear market, when you see a big rip of a certain token, you're going to see it come back, right? It doesn't mean it's going to come all the way back. It just means you get a 40 or 50% move. It's probably not going to stay up there. So, Kenton, thank you very much for the super chat. Oh, I clicked the wrong one here. Kenton, $5 super chat said congrats on 10K. Nick and Miguel, we appreciate you, brother. Thank you very much. Also want to touch on this real quick, and then we'll dive into some articles. The clout chasing that's had never talked about, Ben, is strong right now. Yeah, we're going to get into that. We don't love that for sure. Obviously, we use randomly a little catchy what's the word? Thumbnail. But ultimately, you guys know where I stand with things, and we want to see things just get better in the space as a whole. All right, let's dive into it. We got 10 articles to get to. Let's start off with a name that is familiar in the Bitcoin space, MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy, Crusader, care to guess what they are in the news for? Anybody in the chat care to guess what they're in the news for?
Buying more Bitcoin.
Buying more Bitcoin. That's right. MicroStrategy buys another $147 million worth of Bitcoin. The cloud software firm has put another $147 million in Bitcoin, increasing its crypto holdings to a total of 158,245 Bitcoin. They're basically like an ETF as it is. It says Mike, what'd you say?
Yeah, I was just gonna say they're huge. They have one of the largest wallets of Bitcoin outside of Coinbase and maybe Grayscale or something. I don't know. I don't know who has more than them.
Yeah. It's a massive amount. I mean, it says that the firm and its subsidiaries purchased approximately 5,445 Bitcoin for $147.3 million in cash. The average price per coin, inclusive of fees and expenses, was approximately $27,053. So let's just start there.
I love how they pay in cash. Like,
what's that?
Like they had to do it in cash. Like there ain't no bank going to allow you to transfer $147 million.
Well, I'm sure nobody walked in with freaking, bags of cash, like just started. It's like an OTC deal, and they're bringing in truckloads of hundreds.
Cartel deal just shows up with metal suitcase. All right, give me all the Bitcoin.
Yeah, anything extra if they're cold and the heat's not working, they start burning cash. Like who was doing that? Pablo Escobar, I think, was burning cash to stay warm. Yeah, ultimately, what this says to me is that at $27,000, like, listen, we are not here to give financial advice, but if listen, I understand when you're dealing with a lot larger numbers, a movement of a couple percent, right, is a lot of money, right? And so I think that they look at it from that standpoint. But I also want to throw it at you this way: they are just as interested in making exponential gains as you are. So if you put $2,700 and they put $27 million, and there's still 100% gain or 10% or 15 or whatever, that $2,700 to you might have been a large amount of money, right? To them, the 27 million was like your $2,700. The reality is we all want to make money. We all see the value in this asset that is Bitcoin. To me, this just says that they believe that $27,000, or I should say,
147 million.
Well, no, I just mean the price of Bitcoin at 27K. They're saying, hey, that is more than a fair price for us to continue to buy at.
Dude, I don't think they're in it for a 2x, right? They're not in it to just double up or whatever it is, and that's it. Like, they're in it for the long run, right? They have accumulated a ton. I think they're in the billions of dollars all in total from all their purchases right now. So they are definitely in it for more than just a double up. Hey, maybe we get to 50,000, right? And then we're going to sell all our Bitcoin. They're not in it for that. They're in it for the long run. They're seeing value that is unmeasured, right? The way
4.53 billion as of August 1st. 4.53 billion. Their average price is $29,672.
Savages, bro. Savages. This is what I said yesterday about people not being able to accumulate one full Bitcoin in the near future, because he's buying all of it from MicroStrategy. Grayscale wants a spot ETF. BlackRock wants a spot ETF. Coinbase has 5% of the circulating supply. Who knows what kind of supply Binance has, or some of these other exchanges.
Yeah, it's going to get harder and harder to buy.
When you start to realize that there is really not that many Bitcoin in actual circulating supply for you to purchase, at least at these low prices, when the prices go up and they start selling the Bitcoin, you're not going to be able to afford to buy a one full Bitcoin, right? With every halving event, we add an extra zero, right? Right now, we are at the 5-figure mark of zeros. This next halving should push us into the 6 figures and keep us there. So it's going to be hard to buy one of those.
Check this chat out here. I always look for these funny ones. Sailor pulling up his Coinbase app is the same as when my wife pulls into the IKEA parking lot. Damage will be done. Dude, if Michael Saylor is jumping on Coinbase to make a $147 million Bitcoin purchase, we got these markets are going to be wildly jumping around. I do wonder sometimes, where are these OTC deals happening this large? I know they're not happening all at once, but where's he getting 5,000 Bitcoin over the course of, a couple of weeks
got
or
5%
whatever?
of circulating supply, so I'm sure they got some wallets out there somewhere
that they're able to just do OTC deals with. They hit them up, say, hey, we want more.
Meet them out in the desert, and they're like, hey,
it's like Breaking Bad.
Here's the cold storage. Give me the hard cold cash. This never happened.
Give me the stuff. Yeah, so they're just going to continue to accumulate. It's and I agree with you, Crusader. They're not looking for just a 2x. I mean, they're looking for long term. And somebody mentioned in the chat, imagine a Billy being 20x, and they've got 4.5, and a 20x from here would be about 500K, which I think a lot of people believe within the next 10 years we're going to see that.
Very possible.
Yeah, this turns into some huge numbers really quickly. So hopefully inflation isn't what drives it to those huge numbers, and it just actually gets there. All right, smash the like if you haven't already. Turn on the bell notification. Again, 10K subs, guys. Thank you very much. We're glad that each and every one of you are here, and Trading Wars is coming up soon. Super excited about that to start. It looks like the exchange wants us to start on October 14th. We'll keep you posted on that. I think it's the 14th. It might be the 8th. We'll let you know for sure, but that'll be coming up here in a couple weeks. All right, let's keep it moving. Let's talk about what do we got next? This one was interesting. I looked at this and I was like, are we serious with this article? HSBC customers can now pay mortgage bills with Shiba Inu and XRP. All right, listen, I can see XRP. They're an institution. Well, Ripple is an institution.
Coin. They don't move in price, so they're definitely good for paying your mortgage bill.
It's like a stable coin. Yeah, so XRP, I can see. Shiba, which I talked so much trash about for so long, this, I mean, candidly surprises me. I know that, some of these meme coins like Dogecoin step into a space where ultimately enough people believe that they have value. I get that, right? But paying your mortgage with it, they must be big believers.
Hype thing. I think it's just one of those things that they want to be, what is it like not hippie, but trendy. Like, hey, look at us, right? All the younger kids that want Shiba, right? We like Shiba too, right?
I think it might be even more than that. It says, we're delighted to announce that HSBC users are eligible to pay their mortgage bills and loans with cryptocurrencies through FCF Pay. So, Crusader, what about this? We're talking about a meme coin. We're talking about a meme coin that's worth, I think it's over $1 billion market cap. I guess I can look real quick, but Shiba is at, Shiba's at, $4.262 billion, right? So we're talking about a meme coin, but it has a large market cap, okay? It was number 17. All right. I think the interesting thing is on this, not if they're going to accept it and it's a massive institution like that, right? I think they also know that, yes, it makes them the hip, cool, whatever, but it also almost allows them to pump their own bags in an economy where they're losing money actively in a lot of other forms in the form of just cash, right? The dollar's not going to appreciate as fast as Shiba's going to appreciate. So I think they're almost willing. What's that?
That's really sad to think that the dollar can't outpace Shiba.
I 100% agree, but I think that's part of the play here. I think that they advertise this and people say, well, shit, if HSBC, that's a massive, massive institution, is willing to take Shiba, it must really be legit. And when things like that start happening, they are effectively able to pump their own bags. They're able to collect the same way that they would. They make the conversion. And if they hold for any amount of time, they just have to be willing to be okay with that market volatility. I don't see,
Yeah, I agree.
It has to be what it is.
It's definitely be a smart move on their part if they're holding a bunch of SHIB, right? Or they're getting paid to promote SHIB by the Shiba community or whoever it is, right? To say, hey, yeah, we're going to accept it. Most likely, most people are not going to pay in it anyways, but just talking about it, they get paid. Could be a paid article, could be, whatever. I mean, Patriot came and says,
I know,
SHIB is worth more than the Argentine peso. Yeah, the peso is in trouble over there.
Yeah.
Trump also says HSBC is a scam bank, loves to launder fiat.
So HSBC was one of the cartel banks for sure. Like, that was proven. They got fined, I don't know, hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars, for accepting cartel money.
They just got fined 5% of all the money they laundered. Just give me 5%. The bank was
Dude, probably the exact same thing as they were effectively saying to the cartel guys, hey, listen, we'll just take 5%, right? We'll take 10%. We'll take whatever. It's like, dude, I remember down in the Bahamas, like the banks, you could go in there and say, hey, I got 500 grand. I don't want to declare where this came from. Literally at the teller desk, they'll say, okay, that's going to be 3.5%, 4%, 5% fee to do that. And they'll do it. Like, so yeah, it's out there. They'll make it happen for sure. All right. Smash the like, guys. It's free. It's free. We got about 50 people in here. I'm hoping that we have like 50 likes. It's 10K subs day. So we got 10 articles. Let's keep it rocking and rolling. Let's talk about Celsius. Celsius got some money from a lot of people. It was ugly. So now the courts, Celsius seeks swift approval from the court after bankruptcy plan vote. Roughly $2 billion of Bitcoin and Ether would be distributed to creditors as part of the plan. I'm just going to touch on one part of this. So the creditors have overwhelmingly voted in favor of the failed crypto lender's bankruptcy plan. More than 95% of creditors voted to support the plan, but it still has to be confirmed in an October 2nd hearing. In a post on X, Celsius said it hopes for a swift approval to continue our path to emergence. The plan calls for roughly $2 billion of Bitcoin needs to be distributed to creditors. Additionally, equity in Nuco, the company being created out of the bankrupt lender, will be distributed by the debtors. You know what's really interesting with this on Crusader? And it's not even interesting to me. It's sad. All of the people that I interviewed that lost $1 million to Celsius, like the lady that I interviewed when I was down in the Bahamas, people that lost massive amounts of money that are just retail money, they're not who's being talked about in this, right? She lost $1 million, and that's not who they're talking about. They're talking about
investors.
Yes, they're talking about absolute big money investors, because those are the people that they care about. It's the dinner parties that we talk about. It's the backroom handshake deals that happen because, you know, you're my boy, Blue. Like, that's really what this comes down to. The crappy part is a lot of just regular people were hurt massively from this, whereas these institutions that were hurt by this would have more than be able to recover. Whereas a lot of these people, like that woman that I interviewed, she's not going to, dude, it was her life savings. Over $1 million, her life savings gone. She's not going to recover from that.
Not even a portion. She's not going to get any of that back. Right.
Pennies on the dollar, maybe.
At the age that she's at, like, she's done when it comes to finances.
Yeah.
And it's like nobody cares, right? This is why every time the SEC comes out and all these institutions come out, oh, we're trying to protect you. These policies, we're trying to protect you. They're not trying to protect you, jack squat. They're trying to protect their own pockets. They're trying to protect their buddies, right? They're trying to protect the people that pay their paychecks and give them all this campaign money. Those are the people they're trying to protect. They're trying to make something favorable on their end, never for the retail, right? If it was to protect retail, right, then why did they shut down GameStop trading when GameStop was pumping?
Exactly.
Hedge funds were the only ones losing money. People were making bank, right?
Bang.
You wanted to help
big money.
You wanted to help the people. You didn't see any politician coming out and saying, congrats to everybody out there making money. They're like, no,
shut it down.
These people banding together on the internet and manipulating stocks.
The same way you assholes do.
Exactly, right? So, but they're always we're here to protect you. We're here to protect that, make sure you don't make no money. And if you do make money, pay up.
That's right. And speaking of protecting themselves, here's one. JPMorgan Chase UK imposes ban on crypto transactions. They cited customer losses due to crypto fraud in an email to customers. So check this out. It says starting on October 16th, Chase, by the way, is who I bank with for a lot of my business banking, et cetera. So when I first saw this, I kind of had a little mini freak out. But it says JPMorgan Chase UK customers will not be able to make crypto transactions via bank transfer or debit card. Crypto-related transactions will be declined from October onwards, a Chase spokesperson explained. Wire transfers to crypto exchanges will be included in the ban. Here's the BS. We're committed to helping keep our customers' money safe and secure. Okay. I don't need to even read anymore.
Halts, right, where they can lend it out, where they can make money. Right. That's where they want to keep it safe. Not you. You're too dumb to handle your own money.
But even more than that, when a bank, okay, let's give you an example. You walk in, I had this happen at IKEA one time. Walked into IKEA, and somebody said IKEA earlier, so this made me think of this. And my wife spent like $7,000, right? So I feel your pain there, bruh, right? She spent like $7,000. And I walked up to the counter, tried to swipe the card, denied. I'm like, well, I know there's $7,000 in the account. Like, what, call your bank. I got to call mommy and daddy at Chase and ask permission. Why? It's because it's federally insured. It's the FDIC insurance that ultimately, if somebody else would have swiped my card, Chase was going to owe me that money back. Is going to come out of their pocket. So when they tell you over the phone, hey, sir, we understand that you're frustrated, but we're trying to protect your funds. No, you're not. You're trying to protect yourself. Give me my freaking money. I shouldn't have to call you to ask permission. You guys insure this money for a reason. Step up. Let's freaking get this ball rolling. I got to call them before I go out of the country. I got to call mommy and daddy at Chase to do freaking anything anymore because of them protecting themselves. And then, of course, the articles get written. And what do they say? They're here to protect your money. No, they're here to protect their own pockets. Period. And stop. Do you see it any other way?
Dude, I don't see it in any other kind of way. I hate the banking system, how it's set up, what they do. I mean, dude, if you withdraw more than $10,000, you get reported to the IRS.
better fill this form out. What do you need it for? Fuck you.
Yeah,
Sorry.
like I don't understand. Why am I getting reported for withdrawing my own money?
Yeah.
Oh, because we need to make sure that it stays flowing within the system, that it
Or
goes
you deposit.
somewhere.
You
Yeah.
deposit 10K, or you bring in like 99.99. They'll start asking questions.
I've never had that problem. I've never been able to deposit such large amounts.
They start asking questions, right? They have a form. I forget what the form number is, but they hand it to you, and you have to literally declare to the IRS, where did this money come from? Blase, blase, blah. Like, ugh, they're not here to protect you. They're here to protect themselves. Yeah,
it's disgusting.
Is what it is. It is. So that's what JPMorgan's trying to protect, as always, themselves. Now, speaking of protecting themselves, let's go one step further. The U.S. always wants to protect itself, and it seems to think that it can continue to protect itself by adding debt. And who is that protecting? Is that protecting you, the people?
No,
No.
Ukraine. Oh wait, never mind.
Oh yeah, no, can't say that on here. Okay. Yeah, debate crypto, right? They're in trouble. So U.S. national debt alarm, 14 billion with a B dollars added per day. The national debt in the United States has begun surging since it surpassed a record 33 trillion. That's with the T last week. Moreover, the amount piled on daily is larger than the market cap of the 7th largest crypto asset. On September 26, macroeconomics outlet the Kobesi letter reported that the total U.S. debt has jumped by 100 billion since it crossed 33 trillion exactly 1 week ago. So, dude, we went up $100 billion in debt in a week. Moreover, that equates to $14.3 billion per day added to U.S. debt. That's more than the total amount of Ethereum staked on Lido, which is valued at about $13.8 billion. Add in the $3 billion per day of interest expenses, $3 billion a day. And that's over $17 billion a day. That equates to more than the total market cap of Cardano and Solana combined being added per day.
They're trying to protect you, right? They're trying to protect you by making sure that you don't.
Who's paying off this debt?
Crypto's dangerous.
Who's paying this debt?
Not us.
No, not us. I think
not us, the states, like the government's not paying for it, right? They steal it from you through taxation, right? They got to increase in taxes. They got to increase this. They got to increase that, right? And you guys are the ones that got to pay for it for their mistakes, right? For their spending problem.
Yep.
It's ridiculous, right? That's why they're selling farmland and all kinds of other property to China, because they can't pay back the debts that they owe. So they're just saying, hey, well, yeah, sure, why not? Why don't you just come in here and grab a few hundred acres here and a few hundred acres over there, build a few police stations, do whatever it is that you want, because at this point you kind of own the place anyway.
Yeah, and Wick is right. He said future generations. That's technically like the actual answer to that question, right? It just gets passed along. Like, we are paying debts from when it was, 5, 6, 7, 10 trillion or whatever. And then our children are going to be paying on the 30 trillion, and their children are going to be paying like at some point, this number, like the number's already insurmountable. There's no way to get back, like to roll it back, especially continuing to add effectively $17 billion a day, right? There's just no way to overcome that.
20 years ago, 20
years ago, we were net positive, right? Yeah. Weren't we
before Bush,
Clinton, right?
During Clinton, we were at a surplus, which was literally 23 years ago.
23 years. So we've literally gone basically $1.5 trillion a year almost.
Yeah, on average,
in the last 20 years.
Yep.
Effectively on average, which is absolutely like, I think also people don't have an appreciation for what $1 trillion is. I don't think people have an appreciation for what $1 billion is. I think people can comprehend a million, right? A million is because, people will make 100 grand, 200 grand, whatever. And they're like, okay, 5 years worth of salary, 10 years, whatever. They can wrap their head around that. Now take 1,000 1 millions to get to $1 billion. It's like, wait a minute. Okay, so it took me 5 years to make $1 million. It's going to take me 5,000 years to make $1 billion, and I make 200 grand a year. Now that starts to click in. Now we go to $1 trillion. We need 1,000 of those billions, right? So, it's going to take me 5 million years making $200,000 a year, and I'm at $1 trillion, right? Yeah. It is a massive, massive number, and they're continuing to quote unquote try to get this taken care of,
And it
i.e.
only doesn't
your
sound
tax
that
dollars.
bad when you say we added 1.5 trillion every year for the last 23 years. That doesn't sound too bad. You're like, oh, 1.5 trillion, all the things that have been happening, not terrible. But in realistically, it wasn't like that. It's been, super increased and skewed in the last couple of years.
We need to look
In the
what we
last
need to look at what point, like the biggest. I mean, obviously we know where the
last
huge
4
jumps happen,
months, we added a
but
trillion.
yeah,
In the last 4 months, we added
it's been the
$1
last.
trillion.
It's been the last 3 years. We need to look and
80%,
see what the
80% of
last
all
3 years.
circulating dollars came out during the whole fog around the world. So
Yeah.
now we're living with those consequences.
Yep. It's definitely oof, it hurts, right?
I
So
wonder. I would probably bet we could hit 34 trillion before the Bitcoin halving.
you wonder if we can hit what?
I think we can hit 34 billion before we hit the next Bitcoin halving.
34 trillion? I wouldn't be surprised. We're going to continue. We're going to continue
14
to
billion a day or whatever it was, 14 billion, 17 billion a day.
Yeah.
Between now and the halving, I think we can hit 34 trillion.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's 10. That would be 10 months effectively at this time to hit that extra trillion. For sure, dude. I'm with it. Smash the like if you haven't already. We got about 60 people in here. I'm hoping all 60 of you are subbed to the channel. We just passed over 10K. We're doing our 10K celebration today. Again, just want to thank the chat. We love you guys. You guys have been so supportive. We have a lot of fun on the show. We've got our Trading Wars show coming up in which you guys can compete live with the best traders in the business. It's going to be super freaking dope. If you haven't heard about it, watch the stream yesterday. Watch the start of the stream today. I broke it down. We're super excited about that coming up. All right, moving on. Somebody that's been a big proponent of Bitcoin. This one kind of surprised me when I read this. Robert Kiyosaki on Citibank tokenization. Bye-bye Bitcoin and USD. Like, okay. And he's a really smart dude. He's Rich Dad, Poor Dad author, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Although he has praised Bitcoin as one of the best assets to invest in to protect oneself against looming financial crisis, Robert Kiyosaki seems uncertain about the future of the maiden cryptocurrency following a recent blockchain project announcement by Citibank. Specifically, the author of the best-selling personal finance book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, has commented on Citibank's future tokenization of client deposits for faster cross-border transactions, wondering what it meant for Bitcoin and the United States dollar in an X post published on September 26th. It says, bye-bye Bitcoin and US dollar. Citibank announced today it was offering bank blockchain technology to turn institutional savings into Citibank tokens, which can be used for instantaneous 24/7 cross-border transactions. All right, so
get your Chuck E. Cheese tokens. Get your Chuck E. Cheese tokens.
Right? It's the same. So this is what was argued about with XRP, right? This is what an example of what Crusader was arguing about for a while with XRP. He was just saying, well, why would they allow a third party? And I agree with this, right? Why allow a third party that's not part of the institutional framework, the banking system, traditional finance? Why allow them to just funnel and take everything when ultimately you've got open source protocol? These people know how and have the money to build the exact same thing on their own platforms. Why would they not do that? And it makes a whole lot of sense. And we're seeing it now. Citibank is doing it right now. They're tokenizing. They're going to be using it in real estate. They're literally going, all it is, guys, is a way for you. It's a way for them to almost fool you into, I think it's the first step pushing us towards the CBDC, right? It's getting people used to the idea of tokens, right? And so that when that step happens, it's not really feeling like some big movement. It's like, oh yeah, well, we've already been doing all that. So that's nothing different. We'll just move right over. What they don't understand is the smart contract side of the CBDCs. I think it's just that next step in this really ugly game that is the confusion of the American people into thinking that the CBDCs are the best thing for us. What do you think?
For sure, right? They're going to use those tokenizations in these different banks for incentives, right? Just how you get points on your credit card and you get miles and you get whatever, right? These platforms, these banks are not going to be able to say, hey, well, you're the first 1,000 people to join this new program where we're tokenizing our assets and our dollars or whatever. You want to opt into it right now and you're getting an incentive of 5% something, right? Whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And maybe they add some staking and some yield farming and whatever it is, and they're making money on top of all of this, right? If their currency or token is going to be generating 5%, but well, with this we can offer you a 2.5 or a 1.5%, way better than anything we were doing with before the dollar was digital, right? And you're going to be making money. little do they know that they're just inflating the currency at the same time, and they're keeping the bulk of it anyways. What I am confused about is why he's saying bye bye Bitcoin. The only reason why I would think he would say that is, just how we were talking about Chase cutting down the transactions happening into crypto exchanges in the UK, is that now as these banks transfer over there, they're going to start shutting their fiat on ramps to these exchanges to not allow the money to leave the banking system. Right, that's the only thing I can imagine. But I would think that there's always going to
Well,
be a way around.
well, listen, here's what it says. It says, in his post, Kiyosaki seems to question whether this could endanger the position of Bitcoin as the faster and more convenient payment method than traditional banking. However, DigiBuild CEO Robert J. Salvador pointed out, this doesn't change anything for Bitcoin or its value prop. If anything, it continues to drive adoption and usage of crypto. So effectively, I think he's comparing two different, he's a very intelligent man, and Rich Dad Poor Dad, I have not read it, but I've heard from people that it's a great book. But that being said, I think he's comparing two different things, right? Like I look at Bitcoin as a long-term asset hold for wealth, for generational wealth moving forward. I look at it as something that's going to just basically continue to grow over time. I don't look at the US dollar as that. I don't look at with Citibank offering effectively tokenizing their dollars. I don't look at that as some long-term play for me to continue to as a value proposition. This is a quick transaction, right? There's a ton of stuff that's faster than Bitcoin. There's a ton of stuff that's cheaper than Bitcoin. Like, for sure, that's not what it does. So it did confuse me as well. I don't know why or how he came to
fast. They might be cool. They might give you some incentives, but at the end of the day, the real hard money is Bitcoin, right? The real hard money is the things that has the real tokenomics, that has the real built-in proof of work into it. Yeah. Not this fugazi that you can just create out of thin air, right? There's no big difference besides maybe the incentives that are going to come along with it than the dollar. That's why the dollar's in trouble, and it's no longer hard money once it got taken off the gold standard. And now we're seeing those problems. It takes a long time, but we see it eventually.
Yep. Look at this. Wolfman ate my crypto. Said, I worked at a bank for so many years. Scam. Yeah. Trust me, I've got a TikTok that's got over 1 million hits on it from not too long ago about a banking story that I have, and it's all about them effectively trying to scam me to hold a large check over a couple days to basically make the spread on holding that money. And when I pushed them on it, guess what? All of a sudden, the money's in my account. So at any event, there's a lot going on in the banking system. They're all squirming too, right? Like, we, the people, are feeling this pain. Don't think the institutions aren't feeling pain too, but they just have options that we don't have. And so because they do have more liquidity and more ability to do things, they're able to pivot a little bit better than the average person is going to be able to, and come up with new ideas and ways to manipulate people, or just flat out, maybe some of them would be really good ideas for helping with the problem of liquidity or long-term money or whatever. But there's a big difference there than the average person versus some of these institutions. So that's kind of what I see happening here. Yeah, all right, crypto fam, just a reminder. We remind you all the time, smash that like if you haven't already. It's free. I always remind you, it's free. I'll tell you what's not free is getting in bed with BlackRock. BlackRock. You hear BlackRock all the time, right? They are the big bad boogeyman that wants to own everything, and they want you to be broke as you know what. Let's talk about what they got going on. They're doing something smart. Imagine this. Listen, Crusader, they heard that we were mining Bitcoin. BlackRock did. Larry Fink. Yeah.
They were like, we got to do what they're doing with those.
Yep. They're like, dude, if Crusader and Keeper are mining Bitcoin, I'm in. Larry Fink called me and said, are you mining Bitcoin, bro? And I was like, yes, sir, I am. And he was like, I'm in. I'm like, okay, cool. So BlackRock heavily investing in Bitcoin mining with Crusader and Keep. Oh, no, that's not what it says. Heavily invested in Bitcoin mining, top analyst confirms. A recent disclosure by crypto analyst Jamie Halts, associated with Bloomberg Intelligence, has unveiled BlackRock's substantial involvement in Bitcoin mining. What a surprise. The revelation may raise many eyebrows given BlackRock's stature in traditional finance. However, he clarifies that BlackRock's entry into Bitcoin mining is not entirely unexpected. The asset management giant embarked on this journey 3 years ago, primarily investing in Marathon Digital, one of the largest publicly traded mining companies. This move began during a period when crypto mining industry faced scrutiny due to its heavy reliance on fossil fuels. Despite challenges and less favorable year for miners in 2022, BlackRock, alongside Vanguard and State Street, what a surprise, continue to accumulate stakes in public miners, demonstrating their commitment to the sector. Well, this one, Crusader, I don't think takes a rocket scientist to figure out. Tell me, why is BlackRock mining Bitcoin?
Well, dude, they're getting into the spot ETF, right? They some way, somehow need to accumulate that Bitcoin, right? And how they're gonna do it? Well, they're funding the Bitcoin mining operations so that they can get great deals on the OTC deals for that Bitcoin accumulation to then be able to, hey, we own X amount of percentage in all these Bitcoin mining operations. We're pulling that and then we're using that for our spot ETF, and they're funding their spot ETF through the mining of the Bitcoin because it's the cheapest way to get Bitcoin. It's way cheaper than getting on spot. It's
And
way
the tax
cheaper
benefits.
yeah, tax benefits, everything, right? They're gonna write all of that off as expenses and in business and all this crap that you don't normally do. So that normally people don't do when they just buy Bitcoin spot on the exchanges. So they're funding their operation. They are doing what they have to do to set up that spot ETF and make it happen. It's the smartest thing. It's one of the reasons why we got into Bitcoin mining.
Yeah.
I mean, it's expensive. It's not cheap.
It
It's not for the faint of heart. But if you believe in Bitcoin, if you believe in crypto, right? If you believe in crypto at all, you don't just have to believe in Bitcoin because people are like, oh, Bitcoin's slow. Oh, Bitcoin's this. But if you've seen around this bear market time, a lot of the content creators that were talking a lot of massive cuckoo caca, right, about Bitcoin in the bull run with all their fancy H bars and XRPs and whatever's are like, Bitcoin's not that bad. Bitcoin's actually pretty good, and maybe it does go to 500K, and now it's doing all these great things and energy and mining, and now it's interesting, right? Because you ain't got no tokens to pump and dump or whatever it is. But so I think that if you believe in crypto, you have to believe in Bitcoin. And if you believe in Bitcoin, then you have to believe in the mining process. And if you are capable to get involved in Bitcoin mining, I think it's
It makes sense.
worth exploring.
Think about think about on the small scale that we're doing the mining on versus a large scale like BlackRock, right? I'll give you guys an example. One of the reasons when Crusader said tax benefits, or I said tax benefits, is that effectively when you buy a Bitcoin miner, there's two things, right? The Bitcoin miners, if at the prices right now, can appreciate heavily. The miners that we bought for the price that we bought them for were worth 7 or 8 times, 800% what we paid for them this last bull run, right? So you have the opportunity with that. But what did you buy? You bought a depreciating asset that is doing work for you. So when you go to the tax man, you are selling or you have purchased something, right, as a liability that is depreciating because the miners are doing work and degrading over time, and you can sell off / tax, right? Or use that as a tax offset. You can depreciate that money, dude, on a large scale. Not only could they sell off a ton of miners after mining a bunch of Bitcoin and make a ton of money on that, but they use the depreciation as it's happening at the same time. Bro, it makes so much sense. So I look back, they said 3 years ago they got involved in this. They knew 3 years ago that the Bitcoin spot ETF was coming, that they wanted to do it. So they started to position themselves, started to figure out what this whole space was about, dipped their toes in, started buying, and now all of a sudden they're like, gas pedal, dog, because we know this is coming out. That is the answer. It is the ETF.
It's also very similar to real estate, right? The reason why people get into real estate is because they can depreciate their rental properties and take cuts on that, and then at the same time reinvest the money into more properties. You're kind of doing the same, very similar thing with Bitcoin mining. You're mining with the machines, you're selling the machines, right? Then you're retaking money, you're writing off the profits with the depreciation of the machines, with the expenses, yada yada, and then you're reinvesting that money into newer machines later down the line when prices are low again, growing your accumulation of miners in general, just how you grow your accumulation of real estate. And at the same time, you're yield farming that Bitcoin at all different prices and accumulating Bitcoin along the way. So I think it's a better business than real estate if you know how to do it right.
Yeah, and there's going to be variables in there that you're not going to be able to extrapolate out when you're kind of doing your projections and whatnot.
Yeah, energy prices, where you're located, right? Do you have a volcano that can work day and night without anything, or are you paying 13 cents here in the U.S.
the halvening. I mean, there's variables there for sure, but you can set yourself up by being positioned in the right places, for example, with those energy costs being incredibly low. And you know that, hey, the price would have to get super, super low before we're ever going to be turning off any machines and aren't going to be profitable. And they're basically just paying for themselves if you have the capital and ability to buy them on the front end. The ROI actually is pretty daggone quick. Well, compared to real estate, it's really freaking fast, but the ROI works out really well, especially if we get some nice price appreciation during the couple weeks at a time when the difficulty factor is not raising. So there's a lot of, little complex things there. It takes some investigation and understanding, and Crusader and I have been diving into this for almost a year before we did it. So yeah, it's super cool. It is a great opportunity. We're excited that we're doing it. I want to jump into the chat real quick. Crypto Billy in the house. What's up, Billy? Glad that you're here, brother. And we got Karen Swigert Harris in the house. A couple of the DCA fam. Thank you guys for being here. Celebrating 10K, right? We are excited. You guys were one of the OGs,
dude,
in the house for
OGs.
sure.
Yeah.
So I want to shout.
I want to hit a comment here real quick since we're celebrating 10K. Credit Suisse. That's for you, Michael.
Credit Suisse. Yeah, very good pronunciation. Love it. All right, fam. Let's talk about, hold on. Let me count real quick because I feel like I might have had 11 and we got to have 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, I've got 10. Okay, we're going to hit this one.
Let's get it.
Let's talk about Cardano. A lot of you are Cardano bulls, or maybe you're not, but you're probably still talking about Cardano because it's always on the tip of somebody's tongue. Cardano price analysis for September 26th. Well, let me tell you, before I even look at this, I'm going to tell you right now, it's been flat. It has been flat.
You're great at TA, bro. You got the greatest.
My TA
underrated TA.
Solid. Bro, look at this. Between 24, let me zoom in here. Between 24.51 cents and 24.73 cents. How long? What chart are they looking at here?
That's probably
that's a 1 hour. That's a 1 hour chart. That's
1 hour.
not fair. That's not fair for me to look at that. Okay. I thought they were going to be on like a 24-hour chart, and I was going to show you a whole week within like 0.2 cents. Despite today's slight rise, the price of ADA is bearish on the local chart as the rate has once again tested the support of 24.51 cents. If the daily candle closes near it, the breakout may lead to an ongoing decrease to the 24.3 to 24.4 cents. Listen, bro, don't ever give me an article talking about a 0.1 cent change in Cardano again.
Bro, people need to realize that this is what
is this article on here for? This is Debate Crypto. What the hell is this article
on here? It's on here to remind you, right, that they're going to print out these articles. People are so focused on the day-to-day price. Oh, it's going to go up by 0.001 or is it down by 0.003, right? And people are like, oh, should I be dollar cost averaging or should I be waiting, right? It's like these are the moments where you need to stop paying attention to all this fugazi, stop paying attention to all the BS every single day price action, right? And just do what makes sense for you. If dollar cost averaging Bitcoin, Cardano right now at 24 cents after it rose to $3 in the last bull market, and you're saying, hey, I think it's going to go up there or at least very close to 24 cents makes sense to me, then start dollar cost averaging, right? Not financial advice. I'm not telling you what to do, but it's like people are so heavily dependent sometimes. Like I used to, back in 2018, I used to watch a lot of TA channels, right? And it was like focusing on little cents like this. And I was like, all right, I got to keep waiting. I got to keep waiting. This is not it yet. And it's like, when you look at it in the long term, Cardano sat at 2 cents for like 2 years and nobody was dollar cost averaging. And now we're at 24 cents after coming back from $3. And people are like, well, it's bearish right now. What is it going to drop to 20 cents from 24 cents? Like in a year and a half, 2 years from now, when the bull market is back, does it matter that you bought at 24, at 20, at 15, or at 35? It doesn't really matter in the long term when you're accumulating for the long term.
Yeah. My boy Crypto Chaos in the house, Proper Chaos. What's up, Luis? Good to see you, bro. Thanks for stopping by. We love you, man. You're always a big support. We appreciate you. All right, smash that like if you haven't already. You know what? Put a 1 in the chat if you pay close attention to minute changes in the crypto markets, and then ask yourself, am I new to crypto? Because I see when I was new to crypto, and there's nothing wrong with that, being guilty of this very thing, right? Like actually doing what you're talking about and really just making these decisions that are on such a small brained idea. Not small brain. Don't let me say it like that. a small time frame of, you know, where I'm just like really heavily focused on like hitting the specific number. Yeah. And ultimately, you know, for my investment strategy being long term, that doesn't make sense. Now, if you're actively day trading and you're getting in and out of trades within a couple minutes and you think you can win trading wars against all our traders, bring it, right? Because I want to see somebody do it. But if you're long term, like, these just don't make sense. So smash the like, fam. We love you guys. Smash it for Cardano, smash it for Ethereum, smash it for Bitcoin, and smash it for the 10K. Let's go. We appreciate you, brother. All right, last two articles. And listen, we're going to talk about the Bit Boy in just a minute. And actually, I am no longer allowed to call him that. He has made that very clear. We are going to talk about Ben Armstrong. So we'll talk about that here in just a minute. Let's talk about ETH, though. My girlfriend, haven't referred to her as that in a little while. She's been kind of down and not really doing a whole lot lately. A little lazy. But she hit 10 billion in revenue faster than Facebook and Microsoft, which I think is really impressive. ETH, the leading smart contract platform, has reached over $10 billion in cumulative revenue since its launch in 2015. This growth rate outpaces many of the largest software companies in history, according to a new report by crypto brokerage firm Caleb and Brown. Here's a chart showing basically the revenue over 7 years and showing Meta, Alphabet, which is obviously Google. You got Zoom on here, Salesforce, all of these, and I mean, look at this thing; it's damn near straight up. Just whoop,
straight to the moon, baby.
To the moon, baby. Let's go. It took Ethereum 7.5 years to reach 10 billion in annual revenue, faster than Meta, which reached that milestone a little over 7.5 years, and Microsoft, which took 19 years. They reached the 10 billion revenue milestone through fees collected on transactions, and that doesn't surprise me with how high the fees are sometimes, and other activities on the network. This includes payments for using DeFi apps, minting and trading NFTs, sending crypto payments, and more. However, their revenue has fallen more than 77% from the previous year, along with the overall crypto market downturn. The DeFi network has a revenue of 1.7 billion so far this year, according to data from crypto analytics firm Token Terminal, and a recent evaluation by VanEck suggests Ethereum's network revenue could rise from 2.6 billion annually to 51 billion annually by 2030 if adoption continues. When they're talking about revenue, they're not talking about market cap here, ladies and gentlemen. They're talking about the actual money that's being made on the asset that is Ethereum. And we're not talking about from individual people. We're talking about the Ethereum Foundation, right? From all of the fees that are happening, like I said, from the smart contract operations, like when they're minting NFTs, whatever, all of this, you know, when you're paying a gas fee, you are effectively donating to the Ethereum Foundation.
That's why they're so successful too. It's because they make so much money, they can keep funding the project and keep going, right? That's why some other projects die out, because they have such low fees and they don't have enough transactions that they make no money.
Yeah.
Right. So that is a problem for most of the other projects. And, you know, when it comes to ETH and its rise in the revenue like that, it just goes to show you, right? They've also talked about the Bitcoin adoption curve, right? The adoption curve of Bitcoin compared to the internet is twice as fast as the internet adoption. And look how fast we've adopted the internet. Look how fast the internet has changed the entire world. And now Bitcoin is exceeding that. Now we're going to Ethereum, right? Ethereum spot ETFs are also in conversation. People are keeping their eyes on, and when I say people, I mean institutions. I mean big players are keeping their eye on Ethereum, right? OnlyFans is all in. They got like $200 million on Ethereum, right? Trump's got some Ethereum. He's got like 200 something as well, or 20 million in Ethereum as well. So the fact that Ethereum is outpacing a lot of these mega tech companies in profitability and revenue and making money just goes to show you that they are a better platform than the rest of these things are, right? They are creating more than what Facebook and Microsoft and some of the other things are doing, because they are the foundation that everything gets built on. Yes, are Ethereum fees a huge headache? When the next bull run comes, are we going to see $300, $400, $500 fees? Of course, right? We probably will. But not everybody pays those fees. The people that pay those fees are doing crazy, wild things, like trying to mint out a project on NFTs, and they're trying to make their transaction before somebody else, and all the other fugazi that doesn't really matter in the long term. But at the end of the day, the building is happening on Ethereum, and that's going to keep funding Ethereum to keep moving forward.
I think, I don't know if you agree with this, Crusader, but do you think ETH is basically too big to fail at this point, even though people complain about the fees and other stuff like that?
Yeah, there's no way. All right, Ethereum is getting to the point where if Ethereum fails, a lot of other smart contract platforms are probably going to fail because they don't have nowhere near the level of volume or developers on them as
Yeah.
Ethereum. So that shift, if that happens, it's just like if Bitcoin fails, the rest of the crypto space fails. There's just not enough confidence in these other cryptos and these other altcoins that can keep the industry going. So Bitcoin and Ethereum have grown to the point where if they fail, we are in big trouble. Maybe in
Yeah.
10, 15, 20 years, that can change, right? Maybe after this decade, right, Ethereum could fade out. Ethereum could be, the old man in the corner, and there's other players out there replacing them. Of course, they could become the MySpace, and there's a new Facebook that comes in town later down the road. And there's always competitors now, right? Solana, we've got HBAR, we've got all these other smart contract platforms that are trying to do stuff. But at the end of the day, they're nowhere near the level of market advantage that they have right now. They're just not going to overtake Ethereum anytime soon.
Yeah, I don't see it going anywhere anytime soon either. Smash that like if you
Only
are an
to the
ETH
upside.
bull. What's that?
Only to the upside. That's the only place it's going. To the
Yeah.
upside.
Yeah, I think so too. I think we're going to continue to see price appreciation with ETH. I won't be surprised to see. What do you think for this next bull run on an ETH top? Like, what do you around?
Yeah, dude. So I said that we think we would crack 150 for Bitcoin, right? I
Okay.
think we can get close to maybe 12K ETH.
God, that'd be beautiful.
I think we can get close to 12K. I think we can crack 10. I think
I'm thinking. I'm thinking. I always try to be conservative. Then I just get excited if it goes higher. I'm thinking 8-ish K, 9K.
Like even what you said, and I said is super conservative because 5K was
I
the top
know.
last time. That means it
Yeah,
doesn't even
4,900
double up
bucks. Yeah,
from its all-time high. That is
yeah.
right before the all-time
Man.
high was 1,400, and it went all the way
Yeah.
up to 5,000, which was almost what? Almost
About 3x,
3x?
about 300%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
I
have
I
a
think a 2x, maybe a little bit more. Dude, I'd be
yeah.
surprised. It's just that the game changes once ETFs are introduced because of the level of money that comes in. If we're talking about just retail, how we have been doing the cycles in the last couple of years, I think 10K, 12K, 8K tops. Like that's like we're wishing for the moon here. But with ETFs approval and anything can happen. If we get a random Ethereum ETF approved along with a Bitcoin,
Who
bruh,
knows? Yeah.
like 12K, I would be disappointed with 12K.
It's so hard, bro, because a $12,000 ETH right now, and if I needed to take some profits, I'd feel pretty damn comfortable doing it, right? But it's
You heard it
again,
here, guys. He's gonna dump the price. If we don't crack 10K, it's because Keeper dumped his ETH and
because I
dumped the
dumped
price.
my ETH. That's right. I have enough to dump these markets. I wish somebody said it was right here, and I want to just touch this real quick because I think this is so true. We've talked about this before. It was French Toaster. Here
Is it the deflationary comment? Oh.
No, he just said taking profits is probably the hardest thing about investing. I'm not good at it. The reason that it's so hard, though, and at its core, is one thing is lack of a game plan. If you have no plan to get out and no number at which to get out, or no like set volume or set number at which like your investment portfolio you need to start taking. If you don't have any of that plan, you're just effectively being emotionally moved by the markets and emotionally moved by news that's ultimately half the time propaganda. I mean, you're just kind of just hoping and wishing and farting in the wind, and it's going to come back in your face, right?
Yeah,
But if you have a game plan, that's part of it. The other part is greed, right? And I'm guilty of this.
Yep.
I look at it and I say, well, wait a minute. So, for example, the 12K, right? First thing I thought was like, man, that'd be a heck of a nice little profit taking at 12K. But what if it goes to 20? What if it hits 30?
That's right.
Right. And I see that long term. So for me, because I am looking towards 2030 and beyond, I know, and we talked about this, we're taking profits this next run. We're doing it. However, how much of my percentage of my portfolio and what assets am I taking profit in? I'll tell you this right now. This next run, I'm taking profits out of all my damn alts besides ETH. Like I am effectively going to try to rip as much as I can, because, dude, we see what's happened every time. And I don't see now if the ETFs get approved, I think Bitcoin and ETH will still stay. They're still going to drop, dude. It's going to happen. But will
I
they
don't
drop
think that. I
nearly
think the
as much?
80% drops are out at that
No,
point.
but the 80% gains are also going to be out at that point too, in terms of like big, quick movements. I think it'll just be more of a steady stock market like increase,
But not
after
as
we get some
slow,
huge
but still
appreciation.
not as slow, I think.
No, I don't think so.
I
It'll be a
think it's still
while.
gonna be pretty fast. I think people start seeing like, oh man, because once the spot ETFs happen, right? Even if the bull market runs out, right? We go back into the bear market.
Yeah.
People are gonna notice the average normies are gonna be seeing this on the TV, right? In the financial news, right? Their financial advisors are gonna be talking to them constantly about Bitcoin and Ethereum. Bitcoin and Ethereum outperforming and outlasting all these other assets. Hey, the dollar's in trouble. Hey, this is happening. Hey, these stocks can't keep up, right? But the Bitcoin and Ethereum can, and I think it'll still keep moving forward. I think this next bull market, like I said, I will be selling all my altcoins except for Ethereum. I will sell the most I will sell is 50% of my Ethereum allocation.
What about your XRP?
What? What was that? Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. I'm gonna sell my.
When are you gonna let them? We hit 10K subs. Do you want to let everybody know you've been trolling them and you're a big XRP bull?
The reason why XRP is never gonna hit $1 is because I'll never allow it. Every time it goes up there, I'm dumping. I'm dumping all
so
you guys
much
right there. Right. I was picking up XRP at below a cent. Guys, there it is.
I am the escrow. Crusader is the XRP escrow.
I'm the one dumping on you guys every time. There you
go. Those Billies coming out every month has actually been Crusader. So now that we hit 10K, we want to just let you guys know Crusader is XRP escrow. He's been saying, I don't have a job. I need, bro. He's dumping 1 billion XRP on you guys a month. Right.
That's right.
So,
that's right.
Just to be clear here.
So yeah, I'm dumping
kind of like Ben's wallet of $80 million worth of XRP. Right.
Of XRP.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, you're dumping all your alts. What?
All my alts, I'm dumping 50% of my ETH at most. If we don't get a spot ETF for Ethereum, if we do get a spot ETF for Ethereum, that's going to change. I'll probably drop down to 25% at most. Yeah. And I'm not touching Bitcoin. I'm not dumping that. At this point, I see my Bitcoin as something I'm just going to pass on to my kids. I'm just going to pass it over to them, and they're going to be in charge of it at some point. And I'll probably take loans against it. I'll probably use it, but I'm not going to sell them. I think that with the spot ETF, BlackRock getting involved, us mining Bitcoin, I think there's more risk in selling the Bitcoin and never being able to repurchase the same amount or more again than actually just selling it and enjoying the cash. I can enjoy the cash on the altcoins.
Yeah, and you know what? The other part of that too is if and when, I should say, when Bitcoin gets to the point to where it is that stock market-esque movements, right? That's the point at which leveraging your Bitcoin makes a ton of sense, right? You would be dumb at the point that we start seeing just slow movements in Bitcoin. You would be dumb not to leverage it at that point, because it's the same thing as utilizing, OPM. You're using other people's money that can outperform. And once it just totally slows down at whatever point that is, right, and we see it, that's the point at where you say, okay, now I can use this for a lot of different things, yet I'm not in danger of getting a margin called effectively on my Bitcoin and losing it.
Exactly.
So, Crypto fam, we love you guys. Thank you for being here. Hold on a second. Let me see. Darren does things. Hold on. What did he say here? I think he's upset. You guys still not seen or commented on my comments about Bitcoin ETFs. Bitcoin is still traded by the ETF fund to counterbalance. We all live in hopium. They hodl it. Well, what ETF fund do you speak of? The only ETFs that I know are future ETFs. I guess maybe I'm not hip to what you're actually saying. Darren does things. So drop that into the chat. Oh,
I believe there's some spot ETFs in other. Oh,
there is in Canada. Sure.
There's one in Canada. I think there's one somewhere in Europe as well that they just recently came out with.
Just not in the big dog.
But they're just not the big dogs, right? All the XRP people say the same thing, right? XRP is not at $100 just because the US doesn't use it yet.
This just in, the moment you've all been waiting for. Ben Armstrong just texted me. It says LOL, and I'm not going to tell you what I texted him before. So that's the end of the show. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Well, no, that really happened, but I'm not going to get into that. All right, so let's talk about it, guys. You've been hearing it everywhere, and I just want to kind of weigh in. Crusader can weigh in. We've stayed out of this, so we're going to what?
Before we jump into that, I forgot I needed to share something from Twitter that people need to see, right? It has to do with the data information, the data that's being stolen on TikTok in China. and people need to be very
I
aware.
see the grin already happening. I see the
So
grin. This has got to
it's
be
not a
funny. I
great.
know you so well,
It's
bro.
important information that people need to be paying attention
I
to.
know
This
you
is
so
very
well.
vital information. But I don't know.
Whoever came up with that game, I'm gonna guess has a
Whoever,
little bit of a sick mind, but
for all of you guys in Congress worried about China stealing our data.
well, there's the data that they're coming after. They're
Yeah.
coming after the hot dog swinging into ladies' mouths. So smash the like if you like to see that type of thing. We got 91 people in here. We love you guys. We're here celebrating 10K, having some fun today. We've done almost 10 articles. Here comes the 10th one. We have stayed out of this as much as humanly possible. And quite honestly, I think that, and I'm going to weigh in on this for a second, but I think that ultimately that's probably what would probably be best for people to happen. But Ben Bitboy Armstrong arrested after live stream rant. I'm sure all of you saw this or have already heard it. If you've been on Twitter, you saw that he was arrested last night during his live stream outside of what's his face's house, outside of Carlos's house last night. All right, so here's what I want to say. I want to tell you, and then Crusader, you can weigh in. I want to tell you my issue with everything that's happening with social media with this, right? So many of you know that I'm good friends with Ben, talk to him all the time. Okay, so let me put that aside. Let's assume that Ben and I weren't friends for some reason, right? I would still have the same kind of viewpoint here. The reality is, right, you can look at this from the outside in, not having any information, because none of you have the information, all of the information. So everybody can look in and speculate, and it's really easy to be judgmental of what's happening in somebody else's life when you have no information and all you see is what's just shoved into your face via social media. My problem with it is I don't disagree that things have gotten wild, right? They've gotten crazy, they've got out of hand. That's nothing that I haven't said to Ben, right? Like, just legitimately, that's nothing that I haven't said, like, bro, this is out of freaking control, right? I love you. How do we rein this in? But the reality is, so many people are weighing in without actually having the story, without actually having the truth, and they're just using it for freaking clicks. Now, is our thumbnail for clicks? Like, I would be lying if I said no, but guess what? I got permission to freaking do it, right? Like, we don't play that freaking game, right? Friend or not friend, which he is a friend, I don't want to see people's demise just publicly thrown out into everyone's face, diving into somebody's personal business. Like, listen, I understand when you're a public figure, your stuff's just going to be out there like that, right? But judging and weighing in as if you are listen, do you live in a glass house? That's my question, right? Because ultimately, if you live in a glass house, you shouldn't be throwing freaking stones. And most people live in that glass house. That's all I'm going to say. If we jumped into the chat and opened up everybody's freaking dirty laundry and just started throwing it out there for everybody to see, including my own, it wouldn't be pretty, guys. Like, people do shit. People do things that they're not proud of, that they don't want advertised all over the place. So I just want to say publicly that, like, no matter what the full story is, whether I have the full story, whether I don't, whether whatever, like, I love you, Ben, and I don't have any hate towards the other people also as well. So it's been hard for us because we kind of feel like we're in the middle of a messy divorce.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like to me.
Yeah, dude. The problem is, right, I've been watching Ben since 2018, 2019, whenever he started, right? Along with Zombie, along with a lot of these people that now come on the show. I've been watching them for a very long time. So I have nothing against TJ. I have nothing against the people at Hit Network. I have nothing against Ben, right? I've always wanted to watch them succeed, right? They have been the standard that I've been chasing in my content creation, right? In our content creation journey. And the problem with people is that they foam at the mouth when it comes to this drama, right? They eat it up and they don't care what it actually does to people. Whether Ben is in the right or Ben is in the wrong, it doesn't matter. The courts will decide, the truth will be revealed at some point, and everybody will have all the information needed at that point. But like the great Green Goblin said in Spider-Man 1, Tobey Maguire, right? There's nothing that people love more than a hero than it is a fallen hero, a hero that falls, right?
Mm.
Watching a hero die trying. People love this story arc, and they will destroy Ben. They will go after Ben. They will make fun of Ben at the expense of whether he is in the wrong or in the right. Like, it's just disgusting to go and about that way, especially other content creators too, using it to create um you know speculate on what's happening and talking a bunch of BS when they don't know what's really happening at all, right? And it's just not the way that the crypto space should be handling it. This is not good for the crypto space. Ben has been
No.
the face of crypto for a very long time,
Yeah.
and now
Yeah.
with this happening, this implosion of the BitBoy crypto brand and what things have been going, the way things have been happening, I always wish that it would just be swift and gentle, and hey, whatever is done, and the truth can come out quickly without too much harm. This does harm the industry, and it just also shows what's wrong with the crypto industry. The crypto industry is super toxic. People are super
Mm.
tribal about their projects, and they're also super tribal about their content creators and
For
who's here
sure.
and who's there. And people are really immature when it comes to these things. Like, this is not just hurting Ben's life, but it's also hurting the Hit Network and everybody that works
Of
there, right? They
course.
went from a multi-million-dollar company making money every single month off the stake deal to now people are like, okay, like, we lost stake deal. Where's that money? And that
Yeah.
hurt that company. Their viewership is down as well.
Yeah.
They've been slandered, whether it's deserved or not. We don't know, and
Right.
people are just taking action and championing one side or the other without knowing the full story. And there's always two sides to every story. The truth is probably somewhere in the gray area, where I'm sure Ben might have done some bad things, and the Hit Network did some bad
Yeah.
things,
For sure.
but they also did some very good things, right? And it's just the truth is somewhere very deep in the gray area, where it's not as bad as most people think, but it's not as great as most people think either. And
Hmm.
that is just a boring reality. And people don't want to live
Yeah.
in a boring reality. They want to live in a very exciting, hyperbolic reality, right? Oh, Ben's going wild. Ben's going to jail. Ben's getting arrested, right? There's a whole conspiracy, and then all the other stuff, and like that's just that's that's
What?
below the crypto industry. We want to take advantage of freedom, what that crypto provides us, right? This is why the politicians come out and then they say, you need to be protected, because we're not mature enough to deal with problems when they come about within our own industry and be like, hey, this is happening, no bueno, but let's deal with it professionally and let's keep moving it on. Let's not hurt the industry. People just blow it up and make it as ugly, and it doesn't need to be.
And they and one more thing I want to say, and I know this personally, because this would be an area that you could attack me in my personal life if you wanted to go after my history, right? They take the basically like they have information about your history, which would be basically probably the worst of the worst thing. Like somebody that gets, as an example, in this example, that was hooked on drugs at one point and their life was an absolute shambles, right? I was in that situation, right? I put myself in that situation over years of bad decision making, right? Thankfully, thank God, I was able to turn that around, change, own multiple businesses, speak at schools about this stuff, and be a positive contributing member of society. But not everybody gets that opportunity. Well, Ben's had that opportunity as well. And when all of this came about, what was the first freaking thing people started doing? Throwing shots, making memes, all this stuff about literally like the most, to like, I don't want to say degrading, because it's not like I'm proud of where I came from, but what I want to say is like they're taking shots at something that's a very vulnerable part of life that they have no idea whether it's true or not. And
It's just
according to Ben,
speculation.
he's been clean for freaking 15 years, I think. Like, and so you want to take a shot at that, and the very first thing is like, oh, he's acting crazy, so he must be on drugs. The first thing I saw last night when all the arrest stuff was going on, somebody said, and they had drugs on them. No, they didn't, right? Because ultimately, for sure,
I think that
that
was
car
really
got searched.
inside an article that he had drugs or something.
That's what I'm saying.
And
Like, it's just people
where
are
did that
willing to
even come
say,
from?
and people are willing to say anything for just clicks. And so that's really what it comes down to. We just want to see the best for the crypto space. We want to see the best for Ben. Candidly, we want to see the best for TJ. We want to see the best for just everybody as a whole. So, however, the crypto space can come back together, let's figure it out. I know people are just tossing up their popcorn and watching and talking trash. But the funny thing is, and I see this a lot in my TikTok, I bet you if you met me on the street, you would not say one freaking word like you would say behind that freaking keyboard. And that's just a fact.
Yeah,
Most
that's
people are
exactly
not set up that way.
right. People don't do the things that they do in real life. And it's like, bro, these are real people being, you know, Ben's a real person, whether he's in
Yeah,
the right and the wrong, wishing
course.
bad upon him and saying,
Yeah.
yeah, he deserves it. Why? You don't even know the truth, right? You don't even know the full story yet. Why are you making a decision without having all the information?
Yep.
Maybe it's all right. Maybe it is all right that Ben did do all those things, right? Let's assume that. Okay, but why would you wish bad upon that person? You would wish that
Yeah.
that person can get the help they need, get back to his company, and continue growing
Of course.
the crypto space like he has been in the last couple of years. Why would you want him to not succeed, right? Why would you want that negative stain on the crypto industry? Why do
Yeah.
people get enjoyment of other people's demises when they've never done anything personal to you in the first place? And
Mhm.
that's what's wrong. People need to, everybody needs to stop speculating on what's happening. Just wait for the truth to come out. I wish that Ben can succeed with his channel or getting back to his company,
Yeah,
right? Whichever route that is, I hope he succeeds.
for sure.
TJ and the Hit Network as well, whether they continue with Discover Crypto and they continue on their own path, I hope they succeed, or they can come back with Ben and fix it. That'd be great too. I just want the
Yeah.
drama to end, and I want us to get back on the reason why we're here:
Yeah.
financial independence, building in the crypto space, building, whether it's mining, whether it's an NFT platform, whether it's NFTs, whatever it is, whatever we're building, whatever we're doing, whatever we're creating to create financial independence from the traditional finance system.
Yeah.
Let's focus on that. That is the reason why we're here. That's why we want this industry to succeed, not for the drama. Leave the
Yeah.
drama for the politicians, right? Those people are temporary. Those people are NPCs. We don't care about those people.
Well said, bro, for sure. I mean, the end of the day, it's like, hey, these people, including Ben, is somebody's husband, is somebody's brother, is somebody's dad, is somebody's, if you think about anybody in your life that you have that you love, would you want the kind of things going on that maybe you laugh about behind closed doors or whatever happening to someone that you love that's close to you? And I think that across the board, even when it's somebody that maybe you very much dislike or think is polarizing or whatever, the reality is, like, I don't think we should wish that upon anybody. So we love all you guys. We want to just like Crusader said, support the crypto space, financial independence, financial freedom. So that's kind of our full-on take in terms of this. So we just want to just get that out there. So we love everybody. We hope everybody has had a great day. Listen, two things: 10K subs. Thank you, chat. Right? Thank you. We're super excited. It took us a long time to get there, and we're really blessed to be able to be here. Next up, 20K. Let's hit it soon with your help. And Trading Wars coming up again. I'll mention this again. We got about 85 people in here. Trading Wars is coming up. I have a team of 5. Crusader has a team of 5. We're pushing them to do live trading on a live show in which they can trade for 1 hour, scalp trades, see in and out of positions within that hour. The cool thing is you guys can compete against those same traders, and the exchange is going to be giving a generous, I'm telling you, it will be generous in terms of the reward coming back to some of you if you're able to hit certain P&Ls, if you're able to beat some of these traders. So stand by for Trading Wars. We got the biggest and best. We are going to do them 1 month at a time, 4-week seasons. It's going to be like a little mini football season of live trading. So if you're ready for that, smash that like if you haven't already. Make sure you're subscribed. Crypto fan, we love you. You could have been anywhere on a Tuesday afternoon, but you're hanging out with Debate Crypto. Just remember to question everything.
Trust nothing.
And until next time, hodl.
Like it's hot.
We'll see you soon.